Hello everybody, this is Mitch Blankenspore from MTGModernStorm.com. We're going to try again to get some YouTube content out for you. Sorry, those of you who watched the last video, I tried some screen capture issues. I tried to screen capture and that didn't work out too well. So I finally got OBS figured out and we're going to go from there. We're going to jump in. This is a list that it's a little bit old. I've been working with. I still like the Noxious Revival. I know a lot of people don't play it. Think it's unnecessary. I get it. I haven't had time to play without it, and there were a couple times where I would try to have a gifts pile and thinking I had Noxious in the deck, and then I didn't. That didn't go well. I also like the third Goblin Electromancer 7th Mana Bear right now, given the format's fast. It was fast. I guess we won't know with the banning of KCI. I'm expecting a little more burn, which is probably not great for us. Ran a poll on Twitter, and that was overwhelmingly among the Stormtroopers the worst matchup for Storm. So we'll just pop in a friendly Modern League here and get a couple matches in. Let's bump this over here so I don't have the same problem as last time. There we go. Again, it'd be interesting to see. Another poll that I ran is, does Storm's positioning in Modern get better with the KCI ban or not? Curious about your all's thoughts on that. I tend to think burn with the spectacle stuff on the uptick, that's probably not great for us. With burn, but I have seen some burn lists that are cutting Eidolon the Great Rebel from the main deck, which would be great for Storm, obviously. This hand, we're going to keep it. No cantrip on one. A little bit annoying, but we've got double Manamorphose. We have a Brawl. We have lands. I don't think you can ship this hand in the dark. Excuse me. Opponent goes to 6. My default thought when people mulligan, which isn't always the case, is they're playing some unfair deck. Tend to mulligan a little more. Scalding Tarn. Could be Mirror, could be Is It Phoenix, could be Grixis Shadow. Probably Grixis Shadow. We had a sweet 3-game set in my failed recording the first time around. Against this deck, we ended up emptying. Played to a 1 of empty game 1 and hit it and ended up winning. This is one of our worst matchups, if it is Grixis Shadow, in Modern. In my opinion, the opponent did scry, but obviously fetched away. So there's a lot of play to it. I tend to think that the matchup fluctuates a lot based on the skill of the pilots. I think it's really hard to play Grixis Shadow optimally. So this is interesting. I'm still going to lead on Steam Vents tapped. That does give our opponent information that we drew the Steam Vents, but I don't think that that's too big of a deal at this juncture in the game. Another Thoughtseize. This will probably take Manamorphose. I can't imagine it wouldn't. Yep. Maybe no second land. There's no second land. So I don't think running out of Electromancer is correct here at all. I think I am going to cycle the Manamorphose because if we draw Empty the Warrens, it's absurd. And if we draw a cantrip, we're going to want to cast it. And we drew a very bad draw. I'm still going to hold the Electromancer in my hand. That is on our list of very bad draws. Still no land from the opponent is great. So we have time. So we're just going to keep passing here. We'd like to be able to punish the opponent, but our hand doesn't do anything. Sometimes happens with Storm. The opponent almost assuredly drew Mishra's Bauble. Would have played it last turn given they're missing lands. They looked at us. They know we're drawing this card. So that we drew Noxious, which, again, a lot of people say why Noxious isn't a good card to play because it's a bad draw, and here it's not great. Looking for a Gifts Ungiven, a Pass in Flames, something. Our opponents can't hit lands, which is great for us. This is probably going to be a Death Shadow with Stub backup. They can't play Angler. Yeah, that's really bad for us. So if we draw, like, exactly Empty the Warrens here, we're in a great spot. Visions is fine. We're going to cast it. Our opponent, if they have multiple stubs, I expect them to stub this Gifts Ungiven. That's great for us. So we're going to bottom the Serum Visions and top the Gifts. And then we're just going to play a land tapped and pass the turn. Don't really like to see another land from our opponent here because we know they've got spells in their hand. This could be like a Fetch, Shock, Bolt, Battle Rage, kill us. Yep, I think that's what's happening. Maybe not. Nope. Another Death Shadow. So we are actually dead this turn, and we only have the Gifts Ungiven. So we have to go for it because we're dead next turn, but if they have a Stubborn Denial, we're going to lose. Maybe they stub Rituals because they're worried about Empty the Warrens. That'd be great for us. I don't think they're going to. Expect a Stubborn Denial here, and we'll scoop to it. Yep. And we have Noxious, but we have no way to draw a card. I guess technically we're not just dead. It's probably better for me to hold a Ritual there. If they don't have like a removal spell or Battle Rage, then we're going to get to live another turn, and then I still don't know how we're winning. We have to draw like Pass in Flames exactly. Yep, and there's the Dismember, so we are dead to rights. Annoying first matchup, but it is what it is. So in this matchup, Pieces of the Puzzle are great. Empty the Warrens is great. Lightning Bolt is good. Dismember's an all-star. Like Negate. Dispel's interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about it. We're going to take out Noxious, 1 Pass in Flames, 3 Gifts Ungiven. We'll shave on Mana Bears because the opponent's deck has a lot of really efficient removal. I think Remand is really bad, so we're going to cut that. So here's kind of where I'm at. I could see cutting another Baral, or cutting a Baral for, I'm going to do that. I'm going to cut for an Echoing Truth, and we're going to go from there. Yeah, Dispel is really interesting because it's really good on combo turns against, obviously, Stubborn Denial, but it's really bad to draw it, as it doesn't do anything. It's just reactive. But again, this is not a matchup that we want to see across the table from us. All right, we're going to play first. This has no lands. This also has no lands. And this hand is not good, but we have to keep it. bobbled themselves here, so probably getting a scry effect. They probably have a fetch land and a non-fetch land in hand. Question is, if they cast a discard spell, do we cast Opt? I am going to cast Opt here. If they want to Stubborn Denial it, they can. Bottom Grape Shot. Don't need that right now. Drew a land. Horrible. That was a very good draw. So we could cast Morphos. I think I'm going to hold it because we need like a critical mass of spells on a turn and go off and empty the warrens is like our hope to win this game. Plus, we're not playing a bear. That's horrible for us. Opponents brought in, I'm sure, like Surgical Extraction, things like that. This matchup's a nightmare. And we mulliganed our 7 and 6 had no lands, so we're not really doing anything. However, if the opponent doesn't have a threat quickly, then we maybe be able to just draw Passing Flames. I'm going to cycle here because we just need to hit action. We're not going to lose the Stubborn Denial, and we've just drawn all lands. So this is going about as poorly as it can go. Expecting like a Thought Scour, maybe. Yep. And probably trying to hit a third land so they can Angler with Denial up. That's my guess. There it is. Yep. Expecting a Gurmag Angler here with Stubborn Denial back up. Alright, we'll cast this Morphos. Big pause there. The opponent obviously has Stubborn Denial. The opponent counters this. I would assume that they have probably Battle Rage, something more aggressive. Yep, they're going to counter it. It's fine. Probably Snapcaster Mage also. Yep, we'll take 5. And then we're going to hold this Brawl. No point in playing it. How do we win this game? Like, well, there's that. So we can actually Passing Flames here, but then our opponent just counters the Morphos. We can Brawl Passing Flames. That also isn't great because they just kill the Brawl and we can't do anything. So I'm just going to cast this naturally. If the opponent is smart and they have Stubborn Denial, you see, I don't like this play from our opponent. I think what they should have done there is just countered the Manamorphos that we flash back. In this instance, I'm going to play Brawl here because we literally just have to. And if our opponent has literally all lands in their hand, then we get to flashback Passing Flames, Morphos pieces, and sort of get going. But a removal spell, Team of Battle Rage, Snap, Stubborn Denial. Yeah, we're very dead here. I'll let him kill us, but obviously a bad matchup to get paired into round 1, and we didn't really draw very well. We drew all rituals that first game, and then game 2 we had to mold 5. How it goes sometimes. So hopefully get a better matchup here than that. As I said on Twitter, and I know I'm again not the best Storm player. There are many people smarter than me out here. I tend to think that playing against Grixis Shadow, the way that Shadow decks are built right now, just to be really lean, playing 2 battle rages now instead of 1 in the past, playing 2 or 3 surgical extractions. A good Shadow pilot feels really, really awful for us. That said, they can have some clunky draws that we can certainly beat sometimes, but other than that, it feels really bad. This hand, all it needs is lands. We're on the draw. We have a draw step, and then we have 3 cards at Serum Visions, so that's 4, and then we have another draw step is 5, and sleight of hand 6, 7. So we have 7 draws. We'll see 7 cards to hit our second land, and we're playing 17 lands. So we're definitely going to keep this hand. It's also a little bit resilient to Thoughtseize or Hand Disruption because we have 2 cantrips. If the opponent is playing Thoughtseize, Inquisition, I would assume that they would take Brawl. But here we have traditional Affinity. Could be like a Kadaltha Rebirth deck. I don't think so. This matchup is interesting. I think it's generally game 1 is pretty favorable for us. I'm gonna. Ooh, this is interesting. So we're definitely keeping the land. The question is, do we want Grape Shot? Grape Shot allows us to sort of mow their board down. In general, I would think about bottoming Grape Shot, but as I was saying, I think this matchup a lot of times comes down to you just have to jam a Brawl and hope that they don't have Galvanic Blast. Also, I just realized, sorry, because this is an island and we don't have a red source, I'm going to bottom this Grape Shot and top this island. We need a red source, so we'll draw that, and then we'll have Sleight of Hand to try to find another land. Yep, so this looks like just regular Affinity to me. Plating is definitely speeds the clock up, but I think we'll be okay. We just need to find a red source here, and I'll feel pretty good about our chances with this Sleight of Hand. And we do. Wonderful. So I think playing Shivan Reef is probably a little better. It represents like a lightning bolt, even though the fact we show them Sleight of Hand Shivan Reef, our opponent certainly knows that we're playing Storm. So our opponent's actually dead here if they tap out. You can go land, Brawl, Ritual, Metamorphose, Gifts and Given. Opponent does have a colored mana source up into the Spire of Industry, though, so that's really bad for us. If they have the Galvanic Blast, obviously. They're passing, so that would lead me to believe they do have the Galvanic Blast. This is interesting. So if we go Brawl and then Ritual, and they respond with Galvanic Blast, then we have 3 red floating, then we can Morphos down to a blue and 2 red using these 2 cards here. Or sorry, these. So we go Brawl, then Ritual, and then if they kill it with Galvanic Blast, then we have 3 red floating after it resolves. We go down to 2 red and a blue with Morphos, draw a card. Then we play Brawl. Then we play Ritual up to 3 gifts, so we can gifts ungiven with a single mana floating. and there isn't really a pile since we need to get Past in Flames. We could go like Ritual, Noxious. There isn't really a pile, but we get 2 draws. So if we hit any other Ritual or a Past in Flames, then we can gifts for Ritual, Noxious Survival Morphos. Then I think we're okay. I also don't think it's wise of us to wait any longer, because if they have a second Cranial Plating, there are definitely things that can kill us. So we're going to see what happens here. Second Brawl was definitely a good draw for us, for sure. So if they have Galvanic Blast, I expect it to come now. There it is. Sure. So now we cast Manamorphose, going blue-red. Looking for rituals here. That's a great draw for us. So now I believe the opponent is likely dead here. They are, in fact, actually dead. Unless they have, like, Surgical main deck. Again, for those of you new to playing Storm, if you have 3 mana floating after a Gifts Ungiven with a Mana Bear in play, it is deterministic kill. You get Ritual, Manamorphose, and Past in Flames, and the opponent cannot give you a pile in which you cannot go off. Every once in a while, you can get awkward draws where you maybe later in the game and you draw all of one Ritual or all of one Morphos. Then you might be in a little bit of trouble. But again, if the opponent has played Storm here, I would expect a scoop, because it is a they are deterministically dead. The fact the opponent's thinking about this is interesting to me. It leads me to believe they haven't played a lot of Storm, or they have some form of interaction. If it was Dismember, definitely would have cast it. Double check OBS here, make sure we're still going strong. Looks like we are. Okay, so the opponent didn't scoop, so either they're making us go through it or they haven't played Storm before, one or the other. So we're just going to go through the motions here. Nope, not that yet. Doesn't really matter in what sequence you do these. I usually like to leave a Manamorphose in the graveyard. I clicked too fast there and didn't leave a blue mana. Sorry about that. Or didn't add 2 blue. Definitely should have added 2 blue. So I like to leave a Manamorphose in there, because when you get Noxious Survival, if they have, like, Surgical Extraction, you can respond with things like that. So, do we play around Surgical Extraction? I don't think so. We have plenty of mana here, so I'm just going to get Grape Shot, Manamorphose, Noxious Survival, and Past in Flames. If the opponent has Surgical Extraction, they can mess us up here. Again, I don't think people would have that main deck. I really don't. But if you want to play around Surgical Extraction, you simply just don't grab the Grape Shot. So regular Affinity. I don't really like Remand here. I think Remand's pretty bad. And then I think you can't be scared to cut cantrips in a matchup that you need to be quick. It's a race. It's either Opt or Sleight of Hand. Some people like to cut. Used to be people cut Opt, and then the instant speed of Opt, given the fact that Opt and Sleight of Hand technically look at the same amount of cards. So let's talk about what we're bringing in first. So Lightning Bolt is great. Abrade is great. Dismember's great. Wipe Away is good. Echoing Truth is good. Flame Slash, potentially. The interesting thing about this matchup is I notice that they may have like Relic of Progenitus and things like that, but Empty the Warrens really isn't very effective against traditional Affinity because they fly, all their creatures fly, right? And you can lose to an Ink Moth, Nexus, Cranial Plating, or a Vault Scourge, or things like that. So we're going to cut the Sleight of Hands here. And then I have to make a couple more cuts. In general, I like to cut Noxious post-board because they're going to have some form of graveyard hate. What to cut here with the last two? Looking at Caleb's list, I follow what Caleb Shearer does a lot. From the start, he's very smart, very great Storm player. I'll recommend looking at him. He doesn't bring in Lightning Bolt, which is interesting to me. I definitely think Lightning Bolt is better than Flame Slash. Empty the Warrens, as I said before, I don't think Empty's very good, but if they get you with like a Surgical Extraction, then you can't win the game. Anyway, could also see cutting going on a single pass in Flames, but I don't like doing that unless you're going more on the Empty plan. So I'm going to cut an Empty, and I'm going to go ahead and cut one Pyretic Ritual. It's okay to cut rituals from time to time, too. I usually don't cut more than one, maybe two in extreme circumstances. So I'm going for the more reactive plan, which definitely might not be the best one, but we're going to roll with it. Oh, this hand, we have to ship this. The One of Mountain, the worst. I don't know if I like having double bounce spell in hand, but we're not shipping this hand. We have Serum Visions, we have a Brawl, we have answers to things like Damping Sphere. We're going to bottom this. Hate the opponent could have Damping Sphere and Relic of Progenitus are the two most popular. Also, the opponent mulligan to 3. And Affinity is interesting because it has a lot of these like setup cards, like here, like all these cards don't do anything by themselves. And the opponent's scry to the top. So likely they're going to have like a Cranial Plating or Steel Overseer or Arcbone Ravager, something that gives them a payoff for playing all these really cheap artifacts. So right now this board doesn't do anything. It just hits us for 1 each turn. So we're looking for bolts. I don't like either of these cards. The Ritual doesn't do anything right now. In the Unsubstantiate, we already have 2 bounce spells. We don't have like a Grape Shot on sub Grape Shot line, so I'm going to put both to the bottom. Again, even if the opponent plays like, I would almost rather see a Damping Sphere here than I would see like a Cranial Plating. The card that scares me the most is Steel Overseer because we can't kill it. A little bit Bear Overloaded. Sometimes this happens when you're playing 7 of them, but this is a quick matchup. So the opponent kept that card on top and didn't play it. So either it's like a 3-drop, but Etch Champion's not that good. The opponent, Master of Ethereum would be pretty good here. So I'm going to cast Opt. I'm going to make a wager that they kept a Galvanic Blast on top this land. So we need lands, but we also need actions. So I'm actually going to bottom this. I could see somebody topping it. That might be a mistake on my part, but our hand doesn't really do much. Yep, that's a scary card. So we need to find a bolt. That's what I was looking for. Bolt, Flame Slash, Dismember, something. The land is good here because... so, interesting. We can go land, and then Brawl, and then do we Echoing Truth the Steel Overseer? Kind of wasting a card, but we have the Wipe Away also, so I'm actually going to do it. That represents a lot of damage for the opponent, and we still don't have a way to kill it. Let's see if this is Overseer again. This is a Ravager, okay? So I wonder what the opponent kept and didn't. If they, on turn 2, on the Scry, if they kept Ravager or Overseer, they would have played it almost assuredly. I'm not going to block with Memnite. Obviously, they could pump the Ravager. I have a bunch of bears in hand, so maybe it's right to incentivize the opponent to do that. I'm not sure. There's our Flame Slash, right on time. So if we Flame Slash the Ravager, they can sack stuff on it. We have Wipe Away. I'm actually just going to play a Goblin Electromancer here and pass the turn. And see what the opponent does. Kept both Pass and Flames in the deck here. We're looking for Gifts Ungiven. We're looking for removal. This is probably Steel Overseer here. Another Ravager. That's pretty scary. This makes our Flame Slash pretty bad. Again, the Wipe Away they can't respond to, which is nice, but we're just going to take one here. The opponent is not giving us any reason to flinch right now. There's a Gifts Ungiven. So with two mana open, we can go, or with 2 bears in play, we can go Ritual up to 5 mana, and then Gifts Ungiven with 3 floating. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Again, the card to watch out for here is like Surgical Extraction. The opponent has Surgical Extraction, and we go for the normal pile. They're gonna bin the Pass and Flames, and then when we try to cast a spell, they're gonna Surgical the Pass and Flames. So this is a situation where I don't know if I like getting Grape Shot here because of Surgical. So I'm going to do this. The opponent can bin Pass and Flames, but if we expect Surgical, we can actually flash back Pass and Flames because we're still going to have priority, and that's what they did. So if I expect Surgical Extraction here, I'm going to flash back the Pass and Flames right now because, again, we have 2 mana bears in play. So that's what I'm going to do. Take that back, sorry. This actually costs more, so we cannot, in fact, play around Surgical Extraction. If the opponent has it, they don't. My bad, folks. Flashback of this costs 5, minus 2 is 3, so we actually didn't have a window to do that. But I'm going to do it now, in case the opponent screwed up. We lose out on the chance to play this Ritual here, but I don't think mana is a bottleneck here. So I'm not that concerned. And again, playing around Surgical here involves never getting Grape Shot. However, I do believe if the opponent had Surgical, they would have Surgicaled our Pass and Flames there. So this is kind of a cool line. We get to Desperate Ritual, and we get to Splice onto it, which is pretty sweet. I'm only going to Splice once because blue mana is important. That's kind of a unique ability with Flashback out of the graveyard. Again, this one's going to get exiled here, but we keep the other 2 in hand, so mana is not a problem. So I'm going to cast Gifts Ungiven here. We need to get more blue mana. And we're going to get a Grape Shot, and a Manamorphose, and a Pass and Flames, and what else? I don't know if it matters too terribly much. We'll get another Gifts Ungiven to be safe. We have plenty of mana. That's not a concern. So again, I'm not playing around Surgical anymore because the opponent had a chance to Surgical our Pass and Flames and stop our loop and didn't do it. So I'm under the assumption that they do not have a Surgical in their hand. Again, sorry folks, I should have realized about that that Passing Flames in the graveyard. So we're gonna do the splicing thing again. Pretty sweet. Splice that bad boy. And then our opponent should be very dead here. Keep the chain going. Probably maybe could have got... Nope, I just drew an unsubstantiate because I'm very lucky. And this will be the game. Got to keep... Now, one important action for those of you who have played Storm before. If I flashback Grape Shot for 13 and then unsubstantiate the copy is going to be in exile. So I probably should have cast Gifts and Given first there. That was a little bit of a misstep on my part. But we have enough spells here, it shouldn't matter. Oh, what do we want to do here? We'll cast Opt first. Got to get to 20 spells here. Shouldn't be a problem. Cast Serum Visions. I don't think we need Rituals, but we'll keep one just because... yeah, the opponent scoop. So I definitely should have cast Gifts and Given first before flashing back Passing Flames. Bit of a mistake on my part, but we had enough spells, it didn't matter. So again, I think in that matchup, game one, it often comes down to, do you find a mana bear and do they have a removal spell for said mana bear? That's one of the benefits of playing 7 mana bears as opposed to 6. I think I get time for one more match here. My internet is not great. I live in southwestern Ohio in sort of a rural area, so I don't know if streaming is going to be a possibility. I got to check and see the logistics about that. It'll take me a while to upload this to YouTube. Boy, this hand, again, we're drawing this Noxious a lot. Again, this is the reason why people don't play this card. It's not a great card to draw. We're going to keep still. We have some action. If we're playing against a really aggressive deck, this hand is going to suffer, and we're going to get beat probably pretty badly. But if we're playing against anything that's not super fast, Mountain is not what I want to see. Mountain, Relic of Progenitus. Main deck Relic is certainly annoying, but we can fight through it. This is probably like a prison deck. I'm going to assume I'm going to cycle this Morphos here. Again, we're going to play a Brawl if we find one. We're going to play a Cantrip if we find one. Yep, we're going to just cast Serum Visions here. Yep, that's fine. I mean, obviously turn 1 Relic is pretty annoying, but we can beat it. Can fight through it. I actually kind of like both of these. We're definitely going to top the Brawl first. We'll say go. Could be like a Chalice deck also. Blood Moon, a lot of things. So, do I play this Brawl, yes or no? They have Lightning Bolt exactly, then we're not in a great spot. Can also Ritual Gifts and Given on the end step for some lands, but we also know what we're drawing and we want to draw that card. It's another Gifts and Given. So I'm going to play Brawl here. The opponent's is struggling on lands. They could definitely have Lightning Bolt here, and if they do, then we're not in a great spot. But if they have Mountain Relic of Agendas, they could have a lot scary things in their deck. So I don't know if like waiting there is best either. So we're gonna try to brute force through this this relic. Could also get Empty the Warrens here, which is interesting. So we could go, since we have the Past in Flames, I'm going to go Ritual, Manamorphose, and Empty the Warrens, and see what the opponent does. This Noxious is really going to get him, potentially. They gave us both Rituals. That's really good for us. So we're going to cast Ritual here. Maybe it wasn't smart to cast Ritual here, because now, yeah, I screwed up. It was a good learning experience for me here. The problem is the Noxious Revival can get him, but we don't have a way to draw cards. Like, I wanted to put the Noxious, the Empty, and then draw the Empty, and then Empty the Warrens that way, but we don't have a way to draw a card, unfortunately. We don't have any blue mana also. So this is a pretty big mistake on my part. So I can Ritual or Past in Flames. That doesn't do me any good because the opponent's going to just crack Relic. So that was definitely bad play on my part. I don't necessarily think the pile was, in fact, all that horrible. But definitely should not have played the Ritual. So Scapeshift. Interesting. I don't completely know what's going on with that. So we're going to attack for 1 here. The opponent clearly, if they had Bolt, would have bolted. The opponent's missing lands playing a Scapeshift deck. I think it's a pretty big mistake on their part to not have cracked this Relic, honestly. But they're probably thinking it's the only way to win at this point. Here comes the crack. So do we want to do anything or just let all that stuff go? I think we just let it go. We have a Gifts and Given in our hand. We're okay. So yeah, definitely sorry about that, guys and gals and everybody else. Definitely misplayed that for sure. Another Relic of Progenitus. Yikes. Yikes. And now we don't have Empty the Warrens anymore in our deck. So that's pretty annoying. Yeah, so if I wouldn't have screwed up that last time, we'd be in a much better spot. But because of that, we are not in the best spot. So I kind of like getting cards that draw because we need to hit cards naturally because eventually we want to punk them with the Past in Flames and the Desperate Ritual. Excuse me, Past in Flames and Noxious Revival. So the issue with getting Manamorphose, actually, is we only have 1 left in our deck. Could get a second Bear in case they have Bolt, also. This is a really interesting pile. Double Relic Progenitus followed by... And we know they have a Scapeshift, too. It's really interesting. So, shows that I'm both A, rusty, and B, not as good with this deck, because I should know what to get here. Yeah, if I would have left the Empty the Warrens, the first gifts pile really screwed us up, because now we only have 1 gifts left in the deck, too. And drawn mono lands that come into play tapped. So if I Desperate Ritual up to six mana, then Past in Flames, the opponent probably cracks Relic, in which case we can Noxious Survival the Gifts Ungiven on top of our deck, draw it. This Sleight of Hand also could have been an opt, too. That may have been better. Sorry, guys. Again, punts on punts. I think we need to find one more ritual. So that's a decent draw for us. So I'm gonna play into like if they have like a main deck Anger of the Gods, then this is really gonna get us. But it's whatever. Another Brawl. I don't think we want unsub either. So we're just going to pass here. Again, our plan is to, if they crack Relic, we'll Noxious a Gifts Ungiven to the top of our deck. If they don't crack Relic, then we're just going to be in a holding pattern. We'll be able to Desperate Ritual. Maybe it was right of me to hold that Serum Visions, because if we can force the Relic pop, then we need to have some way to draw the Gifts Ungiven that we Noxious to the top of our deck. There it is. All right, so we're going to attack first. All right, so we're going to try this. So we're going to cast Piff here. I expect them to crack Relic in response now. And then we're going to Noxious a Gifts Ungiven to the top of our deck. And then we're going to let that happen. And then we're going to Serum Visions the Gifts Ungiven, then Gifts Ungiven, and go through the loop and kill them. So pretty sloppy game for me there, but I think we're going to be okay, because we're going to draw the Gifts Ungiven. Doesn't really matter what we do with these, because we have to cast the Gifts Ungiven here. Now, the interesting thing is we only have one Manamorphose left in our deck, so we have to keep that in mind. That blue mana is going to be at somewhat of a premium because we only have one Morphos left. So we're going to get a Morphos, a Desperate Ritual, a Pyretic Ritual. What happens if we get Grape Shot now? So if we get Grape Shot, then he gives us Grape Shot and Ritual, then Past in Flames costs 5, 4, 3. So if he gives us if they give us Manamorphose, Grape Shot, sorry, I shouldn't assume it's a he. The opponent gives us Manamorphose and Grape Shot, then we go up to 3, and then we can't flashback Past in Flames. So we have to do one more loop here. Doing this. And again, the opponent should be dead here. Again, I apologize. I played pretty sloppy in this game for sure with a pile. So we'll flashback a Past in Flame, which again is discounted by 2. And then we'll go Ritual and Manamorphose. Now keep in mind that, you know what, I'm not going to do Manamorphose quite yet. I'm going to leave that in the graveyard. We'll do Gifts Ungiven here. That's the last Manamorphose in the deck. So we don't have another Morphos left. So now we get Grape Shot, Ritual, and we haven't played a land this turn. So I think I'm just going to get a land, actually, to get another blue mana. Or cantrip, because we're going to be able to flashback. That we don't have like a Remand Unsubstantiate line here. we do this, the opponent can't give us those two, so we're going to do this. And they're only at 13. So, again, pretty sloppy game from my standpoint. And I apologize for that, but this is going to be enough. Yep, opponent scoops. So, is this Titan Shift with main deck relics? 2 of them. Interesting. So, again, I screwed up definitely on the first gifts pile. That was just a big mistake. And that's why that took so that's why that was so difficult. So you really don't board a lot in this matchup. I'm gonna board in Abrades because the opponent showed us multiple relics in the main deck. I'm assuming this is Titan Shift. Maybe it's not, but that's my assumption. Don't really like negate here. I'm going to keep Noxious in, actually, because I don't think the opponent has... they're going to bring in Damping Spheres, and Noxious is a good way to get around Relic, as you saw there. Actually going to cut one Electromancer here. So, yeah, that was a good game just to realize, A, it's not that hard to play through a Relic, even though I made it pretty difficult. Sorry about that again. But you can also, like, Storm's such a powerful deck that it's forgiving when you misplay that you can recover and still win games. This hand needs a second land. I'm going to keep it because we have the opt and we're on the draw. Again, I expect relics, damping spheres, things like that out of the opponent. I'm under the assumption they're just playing regular old Titan Shift. We're going to bottom this because we need to hit lands. That was probably the worst draw on the deck. You could potentially cut a Ritual on this matchup given the fact you're not playing Empty the Warrens anymore. Here comes Damping Sphere. Nope, Farseek. All right, so the opponent's really churning out here. We need to draw a land really bad to have a shot here, and we did. So, do we play the Brawl? Probably not. Again, we're going to play a cantrip here. If I draw another Mana Bear, then I'm playing Brawl for sure. That's why I do this at sorcery speed. We get punished if we draw exactly our Remand or Unsubstantiate. Another one. Yep, we're going to cast it. I think sometimes people hold Manamorphose too much. Again, there's not really a big reason for us. I guess we have a Grape Shot in our hands. If we draw the second one, maybe there's a reason to hold. But we don't have Empty either, so maybe I'll bring in Empty for the third game. Unsure about it in this matchup. If they have a draw like this, Empty's not going to be quick enough anyways. So we have the Abrade for a Damping Sphere or a Relic. Our issue right now is we don't have a engine. We don't have Past in Flames. We don't have Gifts and Given. We don't have a way to sort of get going. So at this point, that's what we're looking for sure. Farseek again. So we may be dead to Scapeshift next turn, unfortunately. And there isn't a whole lot we can do about it because we can Ritual up a bunch, but all we have is red mana. Definitely bottom that. A second Abrade. I'm going to bluff it. I don't think it matters. I think the opponent's just going to jam. It's kind of what their deck does. But might be worth it. If this is Titan, then we're not dead. We need to draw something to deal with this. Maybe the opponent's not playing Damping Sphere. I'm a little bit scarred. I played SCG Columbus, the Classic, and lost this deck playing 4 Damping Spheres and 4 Relics. So this is the turn we have to do something, or we're likely dead. That was a good draw. So let's see what we can do. Can also double abrade this Primeval Titan, ironically. I don't know if that's like really an option. I'm gonna Ritual and then Morphos and see what we draw, because that's gonna matter. We do a sleight of hand. If this hits a Gifts and Given, it hits a Serum Visions. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, if we hit like if our top card is the other Grape Shot, then we just win. I don't think we're not casting Serum Visions here. It's another Serum Visions, which is pretty brutal for us. So I think we're probably just dead in this game at this point. We can go Ritual, Abrade, Grape Shot, but that doesn't really do a whole lot. We can also just cast a Grape Shot, which I think is the line here. Just same targets, kill the Titan, move on. The problem is every land the opponent finds is going to 6 us, and that's pretty unfortunate. Maybe I overboarded, not sure. But again, the opponent can have Scapeshift, another Titan, any Farseek, Search for Tomorrow, Secure Tribe Elder, any one of those things, they're going to be able to 6 us. And they'll obviously 3 Baral. There's a Damping Sphere. Okay, that doesn't matter to us. If our Baral lives, I'd be absolutely shocked. That Windswept Heath represents the opponent's 6th mountain, so they'll be able to kill our Baral here, and then we're sort of up a creek without a paddle. Yep. So, ooh, interesting. Got a Forest. Why would you get a Forest? That's really... Maybe they have Scapeshift in their hand as their last card? But they can't cast Scapeshift because of Damping Sphere. Interesting. There it was. Son of a gun. Boy, I'd love to have one of those cards in my hand right now. I'm going to bottom both. My plan is to abrade the Damping Sphere, and if we get another turn, untap, and we draw a Mana Bear, then we win. Summoner's Pact is your last card. So that's going to go get Titan, and then Titan is going to kill us. I don't like this play from our opponent a ton, because if we have Remand, it's really bad for them. So the opponent can go get a Valakut in a mountain to 9 us, or 2 mountains to 12 us. So we're actually not dead. So if we have a Mana Bear on the top of our deck, we're going to win. The opponent went to get a 3rd Valakut. I guess technically the opponent could have just a natural land in their hand, and then we're dead. Yep. Do you have land, opponent? You do not. So we get to kill this thing, and if we draw a Mana Bear here, we are going to win. We did not. Yeah, so I think we're pretty dead. We can like Ritual, and then we can Splice, and we can maybe do some things here. But I don't think I don't think we have enough. Technically, I guess the opponent could screw up on the Gifts and Given pile and give us something that would allow a kill, but I don't see them doing that. We could go Noxious, or we go Noxious, Bear, Pass in Flames. We gotta get Pass in Flames here, or we're gonna die. So yeah, if the opponent doesn't screw this up, then we are very dead here. I think the only way we win this game is they give us Morphos and Noxious Revival. Even then, I don't think it matters. They did. Interesting. So we can Noxious Survival a Brawl. Yeah, it's still not enough. We can Noxious Survival Brawl, Morphos to draw the Brawl, play the Brawl, play a Ritual, and then we have 3 mana and we need 5. So we are in fact dead. We'll see what we draw here, but I don't think it matters. Yeah. Yep, we're dead. Alright, next game. Curious if I had a line there to kill him. Maybe I did. We're just going to stay the same here. Maybe negate is okay. The way that game played out, I almost want the other Electromancer. I don't think Empty the Warrens is good in this matchup. I really don't. Alright, so game 3, we're on the play. Hopefully we have a good hand. One lander, but we have Pass in Flames. We have cantrips. We have an answer to Damping Sphere in our hand. Maybe this is a speculative keep, and of course we're not drawing lands, so maybe that's a mistake on my part. This is a Search for Tomorrow or a Relic. Relic, of course. Alright, need to find a land here. Uh-oh. Alright, that's good at least. This Abrade is nice insurance against Relic. A Damping Sphere coming off the top from them, or if they play a Damping Sphere in addition to that, we're going to be in some trouble. We need... This engine needs, like, a Morphos, needs some draw spells. So we're looking for lands, and assuming our opponent doesn't play a Damping Sphere, we're looking for lands and Gifts Ungiven, Manamorphose, things like that. Opponent is really in the tank, not quite sure what about. However, we fumbled through that game 1, so can't blame him. Another Relic. Man, that's 2 games in a row, or 2 or 3 games of a double Relic. That's pretty bad for us, given the fact we have a Piff in our hand. Also, maybe I should have reconsidered playing Empty the Warrens, given the fact I saw Relics. Mismatching Relics, too. Shame on you, opponent. I don't even know what this is from. That's a Modern Masters. I'm playing this out because we don't have anything else to do. It doesn't help us to wait. If they have Bolt, fine. I'm kind of hoping they cycle a Relic here. They do a Bolt, sure. Opponent activates Relics. we're going to continue jamming mana bears till they run out of answers. Cycling 1 relic. That's good for us. That also leads me to believe they don't have an answer to this brawl. A damping sphere. Okay, sure. So we're going to attack for 1. It's free. They would have, if they had bolt, they would have bolted for sure. I'm just going to play a Selectromancer and say go. Could hold up Gifts and Given here. I kind of like the untap, abrade the Damping Sphere, and then try to fight through the Relic. He exiled the Relic. The opponent exiled the Relic. That is very good for us. A 3rd Relic. So that's 3 Relic of Progenitus in 14 cards. I'll have to ask people what, how many Relics and Damping Spheres deck's playing, because it just seems like a total ton right now. So interesting. I could abrade the Relic, in which case they will crack. And then do I have enough mana? So I can go abrade the Relic, untap, cast Ritual, going up to 5 mana. Flashing back Pass in Flames, which cost 4 minus 2 is 2 plus 1 is 3. I don't think I have quite enough to do that. So my line I was thinking about was abrade the Relic, untap, Ritual, Piff, abrade, the Damping Sphere, go off and kill the opponent. I don't think I have enough to do that. Part of me wants to... So let's see. Let's count again. So I can go abrade the Relic, untap, Ritual up to 5 mana, cast Pass in Flames, which costs 4 minus 2 from the bears is 2 plus 1 from the Damping Sphere is 3. So now I have 2 mana in the pool. And then I can abrade, which cost... So the interesting thing, so I actually could do that, and then I'd be left with a Pyretic Ritual, a Gifts and Given in my hand, plus whatever I draw. Interesting. Figure out what to do here. Because I have 2 mana, and then the abrade's going to cost 4 from the Damping Sphere, but minus 2. I'm going to try that, actually. If I counted wrong, I'm going to look like a total idiot, but whatever. I think I counted right here. I'm pretty sure. No, I didn't. Nope, I'm an idiot. I go to 5 mana. I don't know. We'll see. 5 mana. This is going to cost 3 down to 2. I think I have enough. Pretty sure I have enough to fight through this. Yep. Yep, I do. Counted right. Sweet. So now the opponent has no protection left, and they really need to do something. So again, sorry about that, folks. Just trying to count through everything. Alternatively, we could have killed the damping sphere, and probably forced through a the relic. That might be better, because if they draw a damping sphere here, then we're in really big trouble. And they do a damping sphere. Great. That's really brutal for us. Yep, that's really, really awful for us. So chances are I maybe have played that wrong, because I did give them an out to do it. But man, I've gone through 3 relics now. The second damping sphere. If I gifts and given for lands on a braid, I'm gonna do this actually. I'm gonna get a braid and lands, I believe. Which is actually an interesting pile, because then they're gonna give me 2 lands. I'll be able to go land. Then I'll have 5. Flashback for 4. 3. Yeah, I think this is going to work. So I open the opponent up to, if they have another relic here, then I'm in some trouble. But otherwise, they basically have to get. They're going to give me 2 lands here. There's no way they give me a braid. Yep, give me 2 lands, so then I can actually cast a Gifts and Given on the opponent's turn, getting rituals, and I think that will probably be enough. So if this line loses to another relic, and they drew their 4th relic of Progenitus. Wow. Holy smokes. So they drew 4 relics and 2 damping spheres in 18 cards. Wow. Yep. Let it happen. That's brutal for us. Yeah, I don't know. I'd be really curious for you guys to talk about this game going forward, because I don't know if I played incorrectly or not. But man, that's unfortunate. They just have drawn. Definitely should have cast Gifts and Given there. Sorry, I tilted off there a little bit. Yeah, it's actually really relevant I didn't cast that. Unsubstantiate's a really good draw, though. So no more relics. They've gone through 4 relics. So that I'm gonna cast Gifts and Given here, or do I not? I'm gonna get Piff. I'm gonna wait. All right, so I got 351 Summoner's Packs. This is going to be a Titan. Yep. That was really insanely not good on our opponent's part. I think they're supposed to do that in their upkeep, so they don't have to pay this turn. There's a Valakut. All right. So I'm going to go get Echoing Truth, Past in Flames, a Noxious Revival, and a Grape Shot or Ritual. You get rituals here. Like this. Because then I can go Flashback Past in Flames for 4, 2, or 5, so 3. Do this. Maybe I'm supposed to get a Grape Shot here. But I gotta hurry. I got 3 minutes. All right, untap. That's a great draw for us. So we're going to attack them. Then I'm going to flash back a Past in Flames for 1, 2, 3. I'm going to Echoing Truth as Damping Sphere. And now we should be in the clear. Boy, what a game. Sure I don't screw this up here too bad. So of note, we do not have a Piff here left in our deck. So we need to get Grape Shot. It's actually interesting here because... I didn't think about this. So if we get Grape Shot, Noxious Survival, he's going to bin them both. Wow. So you actually have to get cantrips here. That's insane. Yeah, we actually have to find the Grape Shot. We don't have a kill. Wow. Yep, we actually have to find the Grape Shot here. This is insane. Because we can't, there's no pile that can give us that. Yep. So... Oh, and I screwed up because I tapped a red. Wow. That's really bad. That was a great draw. Well, we didn't find it. So I'm an idiot. Yep, we got to pass. Wow. Yep, so I definitely, I should have added 2 blue for sure. I'm worried about the clock too much there, but we don't have another, so that pile, there's no way we can guarantee get a Grape Shot because both our Past in Flames are gone. Like, we can get Grape Shot Noxious, but we can't get a Past in Flame. So we had to try to dig to find the Grape Shot. I think the opponent's wondering why they're still alive. So they have a Titan in their hand, too. So we basically have to find something this turn or we're going to die. Yep. Man, what a crazy game. Pretty disappointed to lose this if we end up losing it. Probably should have played a little better. And probably could have played a little better. So I think this is my fault. But if we actually find a Grape Shot here, we still do win the game. We've got cards on the bottom of our library that can potentially get us there. Another Damping Sphere. Holy smokes. Yep, we are dead. All right, so pretty frustrated. Yeah, that's a really frustrating game to lose. So the opponent, I got through 4 relics and 3 damping spheres. I think my mistake was the turn that I went the turn that I went the turn I went abrade. I abraded the relic instead of the damping sphere, and then I untapped and went through a Passing Flames line to kill a damping sphere, and then the opponent drew another relic. So maybe I'm supposed to just kill the damping sphere and try to brute force through the relic there. So I think that was my mistake. Anyways, thanks for watching, everyone. Sorry about the sloppiness there of that game 1 for sure. Was pretty sloppy on my part. Feels unfortunate to lose this matchup, but again, I think opponents are bringing in 4 damping spheres and 4 relics for us. Need to find a grape shot and couldn't.